Libraries, and Arts Committee today. We have a new name. We got 3 bills we're going to take up. The first is resolution. Before we get started, does anybody got any business y'all want to discuss before we take up the ordinances and resolutions? Okay. Resolution RS 20181168 approves an option agreement between the Metro Government and Somoli, and I apologize if I misspoke, and Marshall Morgan authorizing the purchase of certain property owned by the Morgans. And we looked at this yesterday in finance, and I believe it's just a little over $10,000. And we didn't really get the details of the property, but I'm assuming that it's going to be a small.
Where's it at?
That's what
Mill Creek.
Yeah.
Huh?
The Mill Creek Greenway. It's in the Greenway, and that's
So it's in a floodplain probably.
it's for the
To facilitate the connection.
Okay.
yes. It's about $10,000. It's not much, like $10,000. So,
Was it an easy negotiation?
Yes. Just another piece. It could also allow us to make a connection across Antioch Pike to other property that we own. Just another
But
piece along the
a
creek.
willing seller.
Yes.
and how much was it?
Floodplain, right?
Yes.
How much land was it? I was just curious.
It's, I should look at it. It's around an acre or less, a little
Oh,
less,
okay.
I think.
In the floodplain. We were discussing.
They can't do nothing with it, no.
No, they can't.
So, all right, can I get a motion? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Our next bill, 20181169, accepts a grant from the National Airport Authority to the Metro Parks and Recreation Department for the Metro Parks Tree Bank to assist in the planting of trees in Nashville. And Angie, you got that there. Do you remember how much that was? Was that $10,000 worth of trees? I believe it was something like that in finance yesterday. They're giving us money to.
Not to exceed $10,000.
Right. And so, you know what it is? You want to discuss or?
My understanding was that they had cut some trees down around the airport, and, to maintain, stay within the tree ordinance of the city.
Yeah.
They wanted to donate money via grant, because there's no way parks could invoice them, right, to get the money, and so it had to go through the grant process. And so, with the tree bank funds, we, as in Randall, Lance with the landscape, and I think even Public Works probably does some of that, and we'll work with Naomi Rochermel with the tree forester, the urban forester too, as well as strategic tree planting throughout the city, because we're kind of doing that now.
So the net loss at the airport is replaced by trees elsewhere.
There's a tree ordinance that X number of trees you cut down, you have to replace with X number, and so in order then to be compliant with that, they've just decided to fund the purchase of the trees.
So that's
they can be
compliance,
planted.
just FYI, with the executive order for trees.
Yeah,
at this
I think
juncture,
there's-
right?
yeah.
Because that only applies at this point
Almost
to
done.
Metro government property. So,
Right.
but I appreciate seeing this. That's great. Can I ask, do you have any knowledge as it relates to this? Like when we do the pedestrian benefit zones for sidewalks, right? When you pay fee in lieu of sidewalk, it goes back into the general area. In the tree bank, that's just, one bank, it all goes in. But if they've cut down a lot of trees at the airport, is there an intent to sort of mitigate or replace in the vicinity of the airport?
I think they would, but I'm not sure why they cut trees. I'm assuming they probably did that for safety in terms of whether it's wildlife issues or safety issues in terms of airplanes taking off and
Right,
landing.
right.
I don't know the
Yeah.
specifics to that, but I'm assuming that's probably why they took some trees out around the airport for airplane safety.
Birds.
Yeah, I think that's something just to think about, kind of the
Well, I think they were
structure
extending
of
to
that.
the airport, that runway, weren't they, one of them?
Say that one more time.
They were working on one of them, extending it, I think, over there by the
That
interstate.
may be.
Is
Yeah,
that in
that-
place with the bird cannon issue?
Yeah, I think the intent is always to replace in the area where we can, and
Okay.
then, but also other
What's
places.
the closest park to the airport?
Seven Oaks, I think. If you're at
Mill Creek Greenway.
In session, but no matter.
Green Mill Creek. is
Okay,
not
so
far.
Mill Creek Greenway.
You want to step in here? There you are. Thank you.
Well, Nancy's stuff in there too.
Not too far from Two Rivers really either. I mean,
keep it
there's a
simple.
lot of trees in that area already.
You gotta lose that person pretty slight
Yeah,
on the other side.
right, okay. All right, that's interesting. I think, glad to see that that's being done.
Just keep your seat.
Sorry. Keep in your seat, Warren.
Beer permit, they wanted to make sure I was okay. All right, do we get a motion?
So moved.
And a second? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and last but not least, the good one. BL 20, not that they're not all good, but this one's really good. BL 20181161 approves an agreement between Metro and Plaza 2750 LLC concerning acquisition of real property for use as the site of a new public library branch and acquisition and construction of related infrastructure improvements in Donaldson. And this is Mr. Syracuse's bill, but I am very much, I think I signed on to it as well, and I'm very excited about this. Jeff, would you like to tell us what we're doing?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
This has been a project I've been involved with for over 5 years now. And it is a catalyst for the rejuvenation of the heart of Donaldson. Donaldson Plaza was started in construction in the late 50s, and this is reimagining that space that's always been considered the heart of Donaldson, and now we'll have a true civic anchor, and the investment by Metro as far as the infrastructure goes is to support the library and to facilitate other private development around it.
And for anybody that's watching, this is where the old Castronaut used to be.
Yes, sir.
I used to get my hair cut there.
So the building, is the shopping center building gonna stay there intact or what?
The western side of the plaza will stay intact because they have leases that go through about 2020 or 2021, but the eastern side of the plaza will be coming down.
Well, that's where the Castronaut was.
Correct. So Metro's buying that piece of property where Castronaut was, and which is pretty much empty right now. They have like a temporary kayak place.
We'll tear
that's
that down.
Yes, sir.
Leave the rest intact,
For now.
bowling alley and underneath.
Bowling alley stays. Yeah, don't worry.
Okay.
And Roger Harley over there.
And, that's right, and Uncle Bud's still gonna stay?
Well, that's not part of the plaza.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my O'Shaughnessy's.
But for everybody's, but you know the road that goes in between the Castronauts and the strip mall over beside it, that's gonna become all green space, and the road over by the old,
How's Blake Freeman gonna get to his house back
it's
there?
gonna go around.
So we've got, no, you don't have to go around. So the only part of that we're dealing with Blake Freeman's is his mailbox that that he built in public right of way.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
You tell me it was illegal?
So, well, you know, we're working it out.
And what are we doing with the old library?
That is a good question, and I will defer to Kent on that.
All property always goes back to Metro to dispose of as they wish, so it'll become vacant and then
How many acres is it?
Two,
The current library?
about
two.
three?
maybe two.
Maybe two.
That's about two.
It's part of the issue with the current space is that we're landlocked there, and the access in and out on the road there is almost like taking your life.
It's right on Lebanon Road near Bradley Parkway.
Everybody's coming off of Bradley Parkway, and there's the entrance today. It's not a good,
It's been paved a couple times since 1965.
Yeah,
When was that built? That
There's
building was-
66, I
We
believe.
have 5 libraries that are what we call Briley era libraries,
Yeah.
and this is a 1966 version.
We're gonna have another.
Do you have an appraisal on that property yet? or
No.
Will they do that?
Once we begin, that's really not in our wheelhouse. I mean, it goes back to property and they just deal with it. I can't imagine what they're going for, but as far as the condition of the building, I would more than wager that there's a lot of asbestos in it and that it would be a potential scrape.
Is it two-story or one?
It's a split level.
Got a basement.
That's what I thought. Yeah, in the back.
And do you
My
remember how
stomping
many
ground.
square feet in the building?
It's
Silk Run
between
Road
4
right
and
back.
5, maybe 4 and 5.
So it's tiny.
Yeah, it's really small.
Yeah, we're gonna be replacing about a, 5,500 square foot library with a 25,000 square foot library.
Yeah, and the nice piece with the new one, we've been in talks with the Arts Commission, we're interested in having an artistic element in that building, whether it's a gallery or a black box theater, and really make it a community space in a lot of different ways.
And can you speak to, just since we do have parks here, the adjacent green space and how, I know often, we're kind of co-locating these things and then sometimes,
You want to speak to it?
Sure, Ken will tell you that's been a big priority for me since day one, because a lot of that area is just pavement and wires.
Yeah.
So to have some public space, open space there is a big deal. So as a preliminary picture, as part of the legislation, you'll kind of see an idea of Donaldson's first complete streets project, going from the train station into the library where a green space will be. But of course, once Metro has control of that property, then we can kind of really engage and design what we want it to be.
That's so exciting. Great.
So one with, Councilman, thank you. So to take this to completion, we need a CSP appropriation.
We
of
still do.
11.5?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Could you explain for everyone watching what a CSP is?
Capital spending plan appropriation, which will be submitted by the mayor May 15th?
I hope he does.
May
Yes.
15th. Okay. But that's what's required to go forward with this expenditure to completion.
Correct.
Is about 11.
And we were, how much, it was 6 million last year is what we.
6 million's already in capital for it, and
For last year's CS.
For land acquisition and planning. So we have, the land purchase is about 2.3 million, and then there's the planning piece also. But then when you add the capital spending of about 11, that mirrors what we did in Bellevue. It's going to be that kind of, size library and whatnot. So
Yeah, but then you still gotta get the building capital improvement budget, right?
that's the 11, right?
Okay.
That's the
That's
11,
11.
right? This is a multi-step process here. This is part of the master plan of the plaza. And so Holiday Properties has, been great to engage with us about including the library, selling it to Metro, and including the library as part of the master plan. This is obviously not the highest and best use of the property, so the fact that they're, being willing to engage with us on this is a big deal.
Now, you still drive around the plaza, or will that all be shut off?
Actually, this will improve that. From Benson, Cliffdale will go away between Plaza 1 and Plaza 2. Plaza 2 is a small section that they added in the early 80s, and there's a road that goes right in between them. So you're going to have all new stormwater and road around it, so you have a contiguous plaza.
Okay, so it'll kinda connect to that other strip shopping center.
Right.
Okay. All in favor? And that is it. Motion to adjourn? Thank you, Joe.
I wanna make sure if I got me another hot rod, I can burn the rubber back there.
Larry said, how can I work in my hot rod rubber burning story?
Camera's on.
Let me ask you about a road.